What's up, guys? Next up we got Shadow Demon. This is just one of those kind of forgotten heroes that nobody really plays, nobody really picks him. Even if people glance over him, it's kind of like, I don't want to deal with all of this. This is too much stuff to cast. I don't want to be spamming Shadow Poison all the time. And they just kind of go for the more classic type of support, you know. Now, for me, it's really fun. The set of skills are amazing no matter what. Stuff like Disruption, we can, you know, just kind of use it like a Outworld Destroyer spell. When you cast it, not that one. So when you cast it, you can cast a Soul Catcher and Poison, and once they come out, they'll have the both debuffs. So it doesn't matter if you can see them. Both Soul Catcher and Shadow Poison can be spammed while they are in the Disruption, right? So that's great. Kind of like same way as the Destroyer can ult anybody under his banishment spell, right? Same with the Shadow Demon. Now, as soon as you get on the lane, you can immediately start spamming Shadow Poison. You need some mana back, maybe bring some Clarities or Mangoes, but you should in general be fine. And you can people kind of forget that they're being hitting by stacks of these, and it's kind of really easy to just kind of pop them with your Shadow Poison release, and they're either gonna die or be very low. So it's just a great hero on the lane, a lot of possibilities to harass. If your ally gets into trouble, you can always save him with Disruption, and you know, offensively, defensively, however you wanna go, it's a great choice. I really try to play him as much as I can if I'm playing support, right? Ult is also pretty big, and ult goes even if there's Blacking Bar effect on, let's say, this Shaker. If it goes Blacking Bar, I can still cast this on him. It's kind of like Doom's ult. You can still cast it on anybody, so there's no kind of direct protection from this, right? If you get hit, it's always gonna get, you can always hit with this, right? So couple of items, you know, that kind of fix the usual problems like mobility and deals with mana issues, and you know, something like Glimmer Cape and Ghost Scepter. So Adderlands pretty much mostly because of Disruption and Shadow Poison, you kind of get a lot of more cast range. It's pretty big that you get the max possible range when you can cast your disables, and that's kind of what Adderlands gives you, right? Adderlands also gives cast range on any items, so any item you get has a, like, I don't know, ability to cast like Glimmer Cape or Force Staff. You also get the benefit from this, right? So deals with that, deals with mana issues, and you know, just being able to spam these far. The hero kind of wants to stay back in the fights, you know, as much as you can, but also be in the fight, because you want to stay back and spam as many Shadow Poisons as you can, while also this if needed. So similar to Arcane Boots, you just kind of, let's say you have your basic stuff, whatever that is, no talismans or wands or mangoes and stuff. Once you get the boots, you can just bump it into Arcane Boots with the energy booster, and then just once you farm the second piece, Void Stone, and then you get the recipe, you just disenchant your boots, unlock the energy booster, and this combines nicely into Adderlands, and you're kind of done with that. This, whatever you want to go, I usually just go with Tranquil Boots. Then, you know, I kind of cover the whole problem with mana in cast range, and then I just get something for health that I don't have to go to base, spend extra money on or tangles and other stuff, you know. It's just it's very cheap to just finish this, right, and be kind of safe. Don't have to leave the lane no matter what, right? You know, and then you can just roam the map as well. So stuff like that, and Force Staff as usual. All of these spells are amazing again, but there's no mobility, there's no movement speed buffs, there's no leaps, you know, and not any forms of jumps. You do not really play Blink. You can play Blink, but I kind of usually just go with Force Staff. And yeah, I just kind of get something that fixes the whole problem, where you can easily get there or get out. Use it on your allies. Also, as usual, on enemy heroes, if that's like a Shaker, let's say this is mid. If there's an enemy hero that kind of goes like this, but he kind of suddenly turns like this for a couple of seconds, you can always use that and push him towards your side, towards your team. Use the Force Staff like Vengeful Spirit Swap. If you're fast enough, and if there's a situation for that, you can just kind of use that, and you know, kind of pick your allies, let them know what you're trying to do, and you know, push them in, trap them, and get a kill. That's also how Force Staff benefits you, right? Something like else as usual, Glimmer Cape. Another way, if this is on cooldown, you can use Glimmer Cape. If somebody's running away, you can use the Glimmer Cape on them, or use Force Staff and then the other item on yourself. It doesn't mean you have to sacrifice one and then one of you has to die. With this hero type of heroes, it's kind of much easier to survive because there's stuff like disruption, and ult also gives slow. But yeah, it kind of gives you much more options, and you know, the usual stuff where you can use it offensively as well if anybody's fighting but they don't want to run, but they're about to take a lot of spell damage. Just give them the Glimmer Cape in the middle of a fight. They cannot cancel this effect if they attack. It's not like Shadow Blade. The effect persists for 5 seconds no matter what, so another way to use this offensively as well. Does not have to be only when you're trying to save somebody yourself, right? And that's kind of, you know, the usual package. Really fun stuff is if you manage to farm something like Scepter. Now, you're playing support, that's a lot of money. It's difficult to happen, but Scepter basically gives your ult 3 charges. And like I said, this works against Blacking Bar as well. It still gives slow. So you can immediately as the fun starts, even if there's Blacking or no Blacking Bars activated, you can still cast this on 3 targets. The damage is pretty big. Even on first level, it's 300, goes to 500. And it's kind of a lot of damage. They're slowed. They do regain the movement speed over time. But just imagine getting in the fight and immediately casting 3 of these. Even if you die, they're gonna take a bunch of damage. You can usually always cast disruption as well, and some of these. So there's always gonna be huge value if you somehow get your hands on the Scepter. It's pretty huge, especially huge if you go for the right talent at level 25. But that's all big if the game goes that long. If you have that money to waste on this. You know, but your ult gets halved. It's 60 seconds, now it's 30 seconds, so for each charge to get back it's only 30 seconds wait. So instead of 60 seconds, every 60 seconds you get 2 charges instead of 1, pretty much. So that's a pretty big combo. Again, if the game goes that long, if you get that much money, pretty good choice that you can choose. But like in this sense, I would say it's also tough because 2 charges of disruption is also pretty huge. But the last one kind of depends, do I need to control the game that much? If there's kind of problems, there's a lot of, they kind of have the type of heroes that gank more us than we gank them, and I have to kind of be reactive. I would always take the left one then, of course, on the 25th. If anybody, you know, you can kind of disable one target or the other, or one enemy or one ally, you know, kind of keep them, keep the enemy occupied, busy, or just kind of save your ally that's kind of on the front line, kind of getting hit. Maybe he just kind of extended too much, and you can kind of do stuff like that, you know, where, you know, you can disable enemy, you can disable allies, it can be 2 enemies, there's ult always, there's other stuff, and yeah. So your soul catcher, you can get, I usually just get kind of 1 level of this. I invest more into disruption. I just kind of want to get this cooldown as low as possible, right? But pretty much how we're gonna go. This does not go that much, 35%. It becomes much more valuable when they actually do get some health, you know, especially off laners. So that's kind of your inbuilt, really buffed, what was it, Spirit Vessel, right? Yeah, it's kind of your inbuilt Spirit Vessel in a way, in terms of the health reduction. Also does spell amplification per hero. It's not that big of a circle. You can see it can be kind of difficult to get more than 2 heroes usually. But you know, depends who's on your team. If there's something that keep it condensed, maybe there's something like Magnus, maybe something like Tides. They can just jump in while they're crowded. Maybe there's somebody like Enigma. Then you can get more targets, right? But even if it's 1 target, it's still pretty amazing. And yeah, I just keep spamming your Shadow Poison. The poison goes really far with the other lances, you can see. Goes across the whole map, right? It's a pretty big range, and you're kind of really safe. Just, you know, attacking anybody that's here, and the other spells are not so big of range, but still, you know, that's you're kind of pretty safe. Just staying there and casting Shadow Poison if that's how the gameplay goes, right? So stuff like this is usually what I get if there's money, of course. And I would probably, if there's no need for something like Ghost Scepter, again, Shadow Demon has that luxury that I can always cast this and buy a bunch of time for myself. I even create illusions, so they kind of have to see which one is the real. You can kind of block them with illusions as well. they do last even on level 1 it's 11 seconds. You know, you can kind of you can get a lot of time with illusions. You can block off if anybody's chasing you again, you can block them off with illusions. You know, position them however you want while you're running away. And yeah, this is why we get something like this as well in terms of items, right? But if this is kind of not enough and there's problems, as always that I use like example like Ursa and stuff, to place blink, the third spell with the passive, or the second spell with the passive, I forgot where it was, the overpower and the passive, right? He can pretty much just one-shot you, especially with the basher. So something like this can be great. Also something like this can be great on disc. If there's anybody else, immediate spell damage in big like sense where it can kind of kill you or you just die and disable, this gives you strong dispel. Couple of seconds to see what are you gonna do with disruption, what are you gonna do with ult, are there any items you can use to save yourself, or are you just gonna kind of stay there, cast disruption and just kind of wait and bait for your team to jump in. You know, depends. Let's say your team is like here, you can buy a lot of time with Aeon Disc, cast disruption on yourself maybe, and even if they surround you, your team can still jump in and you know, enter the fight. You'll be getting out, having all the spells. It's always like an extra layer of security that always works. Ghost Scepter, you gotta be careful. You have to press this. If they disable you, there's no way for you to press this effectively. They can stun you into hex, into another stun, or just sometimes it takes just one stun and they can kill you, right? But also if anybody silences you, you can still go into this. But I'm kind of expecting if anybody silences you, they're probably gonna be a spellcaster usually, and you're gonna get wrecked anyways. If you go into this, because you know you are silenced, you're taking damage from Orchid, and let's say it's Orchid, and also increased damage on Ghost form. So kind of tricky with that. This is kind of much more safer, but then again it costs a lot more, right? This is 3k, this is 1500. It's not that big of a difference, 1500, but you might not just have time, you know, depending what the state of the game is. And this is just one of the heroes that I like getting a Lotus Orb as well. It kind of feel like it fits with the whole team somewhat. Being able to cast disruption, casting Lotus Orb on anybody in your team or on yourself, if there's a lot of targeted spells, like exactly like there's maybe Lion, there's Shadow Shaman, there's Ogre Magi, stuff like that. Also returns any items. So if anybody casts Orchid or Hex as an item, that also gets returned. This is one of the heroes where I like Lotus Orb actually, kind of goes with the whole, right? Kind of disable / protection thing, right? And there's always the Yule Scepter, just another way where you can go into disruption or cast it on yourself. You know, if you get silenced, that breaks silence once you come down. If there's any stuns flying towards you, know, like Sven cast Night Vengeful Spirit, just go into this. Once you come down, you'll be free to go. Any debuffs like Silencers, first spell and last word, if you immediately cast this, once you come down, they're all going to be cleared. You're not going to take any damage and you're not going to be silenced, most importantly. And you know, any channeling spells, if this is kind of busy for something else, you used it or you kind of want to save it, Yule Scepter is another way to interrupt maybe Witch Doctor, Crystal Maiden, Enigma. You have extra cast range because of Etherlands, so you won't be dragged into all of that stuff. You know, Pudge Salt. This is one of my favorite spells. Usually when I play against Legion Commander, I really like playing Shadow Demon against Legion Commander because they can't do anything. Usually, how they fix the problem is they just get Black in bar, right? And you can't really disable them. And if you use something like Force Staff on your ally being trapped in Legion Salt, even if you push them, it's not that big and they're gonna still be pulled towards Legion, and they're still kind of open. And you can't really do anything to stop them, right, from getting damaged. And Disruption is pretty much the thing that does exactly that, just like Destroyer. If Legion jumps, let's say it's Legion jumps, without Blacking Bar, you just purge Legion. If you want to keep them there, or you know, you purge your ally. If you want to keep Legion open, you just kind of nuke them with other spells, right? So you have a lot of options. Whoever of those you want to interrupt, and you know, Pudge, stuff like that. So that's kind of how I like playing Shadow Demon. A lot of these items are just always the same, usually for intelligence heroes, support heroes. There's not a lot of variety really. This is just stuff that works. You get stuff that kind of helps you with the spells where you kind of save. You don't have to be close to the battle with Elderlands. That's usually the case. Force Steps is always usually the case because you have no more mobility or you don't play Blink, let's say. And Glimmer Cape is kind of your Shadow Blade, just a support version, right? With the great effects. It is 15% basic protection, then 50% on top of that when you cast it. So yeah, again, if you can reach Scepter is really fun, and again, it goes great with this. Now Shard is kind of really weird for Shadow Demon. It's kind of heal. It gives the basic dispel and it also heals the target when it ends, right? So as you can see, like it goes to 3 to 4 to 500, and I really don't know why that is really there. As you're kind of playing Shadow Demon, it's not like something where it's kind of so, you know, it's not like a type like Omni Knight or Chen. Even I would say Abaddon with all his stuff. It's kind of like, you know, why does Shadow Demon have stuff like that? But I mean, there you go. It's the demonic cleanse, and it's a good demon that heals you at the end as well. So if you wanna get Shard, another great way to have a free. Well, level 1, it's already like a free mechanism effect, and then it gets even better, right? And yeah, so this Shard is pretty strong if you want to get it, whenever you want to get it. Free heal, why not? You can disable somebody attacking your friend with this, give him the heal. Once this guy gets out of this, there's just a short time remaining to kind of, you know, he's gonna get healed. He can run back, you can block him for him. Use the illusions to block the guy. There's just a lot of stuff you can do, you know. And it's really easy to get it going with Shadow Demon. There's just a lot of ways, especially single target. Go from disruption into all of these. You know, they're slow, their health is reduction, spell amplifications is on them as a debuff. You just kind of keep chasing them, keep spamming poison, and you know, poison is on them, hitting them. All of their stuff, if it's blink, usually gets this reset every time to 3 seconds. They can't even blink away. So there's also Force Staff, you know, extra chasing possibility. It's gonna be really nasty trying to escape Shadow Demon, right? Especially if you went for the last one here. So that's kind of the whole thing with the items and gameplay. Just bring some mana stuff for the lane clarities or mangoes and keep spamming Shadow Poison. And if there's chance to kill, you can, same way as Outworld Destroyer, you can take one target out of the herd, isolate them, and you can cast all of that stuff while they're in there. Once they come out, just continue the stuff. If there's ult, you ult. Pretty easy to get killed, and also pretty easy to defend. If anybody jumps the other hero in your lane, just cast disruption on them and you'll get away, no problem, right? So that's kind of it with the whole spells and items things. Let's take a look at the talent tree. Talent tree just kind of takes strength. Shadow Poison damage is also fine, but this takes time. It's not like instant value. You gotta be able to chase and cast these. It just takes strength, you know, just extra health so I can run around and keep spamming stuff, right? Second one, I just take Demon Purge damage. We kind of solved our movement speed. There's Tranquil Boots, there's Force Staff. Movement speed is fine, mobility is kind of solved. Just take the buff ult. This becomes so much more value if you can make the scepter, right? There's 3 casts. This is then 600 damage, right? 200 more. And you can also spam all of these on one target. They're gonna take all the damage, right? Third one, I would just take the Shadow Poison cooldown. If this was cooldown for disruption, I would maybe think about that then. But cooldown for this is nothing really special. You know, it's not that crazy. You just put it to 14 seconds and the spell is not something insane. If it was cooldown for disruption, it would be kind of tough choice, but you know, just take the Shadow Poison. It's half that value, right? 125 then, and you just 1 second cooldown on this, just go and spam as much as you can. It's also AoE, you can hit anybody on its path. As you can see, it's not that crazy wide, but it's still wide, right? You can hit anybody there. So just take that and spam it. That's pretty much it. And yeah, the last one, like I said, depends on the enemy team. If you need more control, you know, don't dump everything into ult. That's always a bad idea, dumping everything into one spell. This kind of spreads it much more evenly. You do not have to like sacrifice this for your ally if you want to save them, but then, you know, kind of enemy starts getting away, then you don't have anything for them, and you wish you had this, but you had to save your ally first. This kind of gets rid of all of those problems, you know, and this becomes so much better if there's scepter. Otherwise, usually this always works in like 80% cases anyways. It's always better to take this, right? It's like a free, again, like the Shoyer's free scepter upgrade when he gets to cast double short imprisonment, right? So that's kind of the whole thing with Shadow Demon. Like I said, just go in the lane, bring some mana, spam, get this for extra range, get more staff to deal with your mobility issues, Glimmer Cape, and then kind of whatever there needs to be made else. Aeon Disc, Ghost Scepter for nasty red clickers if you kind of feel you're gonna die from those. Lotus Orb is also nice, and Yule Scepter as usual, one of the best items that kind of deals with everything, right? This item deals with everything. Also gives you movement speed, gives you mana, regeneration, mana as a bigger pool as well with 10 in. There's just everything here, right? You can never go wrong with this. So yeah, that would be the Shadow Demon, and I'll see you guys on the next one.